Demarcate, to show the limits of something. The fence was put in place to demarcate one piece of property from the next. Demeaning, causing someone to become or feel less respected. The manager dismissed Brenda's ideas in a demeaning tone that made her feel like the stupidest person in the room. Demeanor, a way of looking and behaving. Jack's disruptive demeanor got him kicked out of school for a week. Dementia, a medical condition that affects especially old people, causing the memory and other mental abilities to gradually become worse and leading to confused behavior. She is suffering from senile dementia. Demise, the end of the operation or existence of something. The demise of the company was sudden and unexpected. Demographics, the statistical characteristics of human populations such as age or income used especially to identify markets. The demographics of the country have changed dramatically in recent years. Demonize, to try to make someone or a group of people seem completely evil. In divorce court, the bitter wife tried to demonize her ex and paint him in a bad light to the judge. Demotic, used by ordinary people. Demotic scripts were different from traditional Egyptian communication in that they were scribed with business and not traditional wording. Demur, to express disagreement or refuse to do something. He raised his hand to demur but wasn't allowed to protest. Denigrate, to say that someone or something is not good or important. On the talk show, the mean host usually tries to denigrate her guests by reminding them of their misdeeds. Denizen, an animal, plant, or person that lives in or is often in a particular place. My husband is a denizen of the sand who practically lives at the beach. Denouement, the final part of a work of literature, after the climax. The film ended with a denouement that left the audience speechless. Denounce, to criticize something or someone strongly and publicly. We must denounce injustice and oppression. Deplete, to reduce something in size or amount, especially supplies of energy, money, etc. When we continually cut down forests, we are choosing to deplete one of our greatest resources. Deplorable, very bad. Many of the refugees are forced to live under deplorable conditions. Deportation, the action of forcing someone to leave a country, especially someone who has no legal right to be there, who has broken the law. Due to the father's criminal behavior, his whole family faced deportation to their country. Depose, to remove someone important from a powerful position. A coalition of countries is trying to depose the island dictator. Deposition, a formal written statement made or used in a law court. After the deposition of the president, the vice president was asked to lead the country. Deprecate, to say that you think something is of little value or importance. He is a good coach because he does not deprecate the players even when they make mistakes. Depreciate, to cause something to lose value, especially over time. The new car starts to depreciate in value as soon as it is driven off the lot. Deride, to laugh at someone or something in a way that shows you think they are stupid or of no value. If the police do not intervene, the fans of the winning team will ride those of the losing team as they leave the arena. Derivative, having parts that originate from another source. His painting is very derivative. Descent, a way down, such as a path, or an act of coming down. The plane began its final descent into the airport. Descry, to see or notice something or someone. After conducting experiments for several years, the scientist was able to describe the cause of the disease. Desecrate, to damage or show no respect towards something holy or very much respected. Do not desecrate the temple by speaking loudly during your visit. Desiccate, to remove the moisture from something so it becomes completely dry, to lose all moisture and become completely dry. The bricks were totally desiccated by the sun. Desolate, having no living things. Since the anchor stores closed, the shopping center has become a desolate wasteland. Desuetude, the principle that laws can stop having any legal force when they have not been used for a long time. The dusty typewriter has been in desuetude for over 4 decades. Desultory, without a clear plan or purpose and showing little effort or interest. Because he was not happy with his pay increase, James made only a desultory effort to complete his duties at work. Deterrent. Something that deters people from doing something. When I saw the security guard in the store, I knew he was there as a theft deterrent. Detest. To hate someone or something very much. The animal activists detest people who purchase fur coats. Detract. To make something seem less valuable or less deserving of admiration. The publicity could detract from our election campaign. Detraction. A lessening of reputation or esteem, especially by envious, malicious, or petty criticism. Weak men are crushed by detraction, but the brave hold on and succeed. Detrimental. Causing harm or damage. My grandmother still does not own a microwave because she believes the radiation could be detrimental to her health. Devalue. To cause someone or something to be considered less valuable or important. Last year, Mexico was forced to devalue the peso. Devoid. To lack or be without something that is necessary or usual. We need rainfall or the lake will be devoid of water. Devolve. To give power or responsibility to a person or group that is at a lower level or has less authority. A law was passed to devolve some powers of the central government to regional councils. Dialectical. Discovering what is true by considering opposite theories. Hegel detected this dialectical progression in the progress of human consciousness and intellectual-emotional growth. Diaphanous. Characterized by such fineness of texture as to permit seeing through. Mary found it quite easy to see through the diaphanous drapes. Diatribe. An angry speech or piece of writing that severely criticizes something or someone. Because Sheila was unhappy with the administration, she launched a lengthy diatribe against the board during lunch. Dichotomy. The division of two things that are completely different. His dichotomy of heaven and hell became an excellent essay on the contrast between paradise and eternal suffering. Dictum. A short statement, especially one expressing advice or a general truth. Because Jason didn't follow the safety dictum, he was suspended from the football team. Didactic. Intended to teach, or to improve morals by teaching. While the professor's lectures were designed to be didactic, they only served to confuse the students. Differentiate. To show or find the difference between things that are compared. The cashier told me a sticker would differentiate the regular cheeseburger from the cheeseburger without pickles. Diffident. Shy and not confident of your abilities. Because she felt unattractive, Mary was diffident and kept to herself at parties. Diffuse. To cause something to spread in many directions. They used the essential oils to diffuse fragrance throughout the entire room. Digression. The action of moving away from the main subject you are writing or talking about and writing or talking about something else. The elderly professor would sometimes make a digression and talk about his lake house instead of physics. Dilate. To cause a part of the body to become wider or further open. The doctor will repair the narrowed blood vessels by inserting a tube to dilate them. Dilatory. Slow and likely to cause delay. The government has been dilatory in dealing with the problem of unemployment. Dilettante. A person who is or seems to be interested in a subject, but whose understanding of it is not very deep or serious. When it comes to learning how to play the guitar, my daughter is a dilettante who will practice one day but not the next day. Din. A loud, unpleasant, confused noise that lasts for a long time. The din from my neighbor's party will probably keep me up all night. Diplomat. An official whose job is to represent one country in another, and who usually works in an embassy. He's a U.S. diplomat assigned to the embassy in London. Dire. Very serious or extreme. Despite dire threats of violence from extremist groups, the protest passed off peacefully. Dirge. A slow, sad song or piece of music, sometimes played because someone has died. My teenage daughter was bored by the music at the opera and referred to it as one long funeral dirge. Disabuse. To cause someone no longer to have a wrong idea. Because my cousin is an environmental activist, she tries to disabuse people of the idea that wasting water does not matter. Disaffection. the quality of no longer supporting or being satisfied with a system, organization, or idea. There are signs of growing disaffection among voters. Discerning, able to make or usually making careful judgments about the quality of similar things. The discerning customer will recognize this as a high-quality product. Disciplinary, connected with the punishment of people who break the rules. Disciplinary action was taken by the principal after the student refused to listen to the teacher. Discomfit, to make someone feel uncomfortable, especially mentally. The news about the prison escape will discomfit many people who are planning on attending the parade. Discordant, used to describe something that is not in agreement with something else. The two experiments gave us discordant results. Discredit, loss of respect for or belief in someone or something. The way Leonard responded to the customer was a discredit to the company's service policy. Discreet, careful not to cause embarrassment or attract a lot of attention. He is very discreet in giving his opinions at meetings. Discrepancy, a difference between two things that should be the same. The police were confused by the discrepancy between the testimonies of the two witnesses who saw the same event. Discrete, clearly separate or different in shape or form. Though they are both citrus, lemons and limes are two discrete fruits. Discretion, the ability to behave without causing embarrassment or attracting too much attention, especially by keeping information secret. Parents should have the discretion to determine which television programs their children may watch. Discretionary, available to someone by choice without having to get permission or authority. The company used to give discretionary bonus payments. Discrimination, the practice of treating particular people, companies, or products differently from others, especially in an unfair way. Carol is an attorney who works to help fight gender discrimination in the workplace. Discursive, talking about or dealing with subjects that are only slightly connected with the main subject for longer than necessary. When the writer was drunk, he often talked for hours in a discursive manner. Disdain, to look on with scorn. The older musicians disdain the new, rock-influenced music. Disinclination, a feeling of not wanting to do something. He felt a disinclination to take music lessons. Disingenuous, slightly dishonest, or not speaking the complete truth. Although the politician promised to be open and honest during the election, he later became disingenuous and hid important facts from the voters. Disinterested, having no personal involvement or receiving no personal advantage, and therefore free to act fairly. A lawyer should provide disinterested advice. Disjointed, not well connected or well ordered. The script was disjointed and hard to follow. Dismay, a feeling of unhappiness and disappointment. To the children's dismay, there was not enough snow in the yard to build a snowman. Dismiss, to formally ask or order someone to leave. Because of a decline in sales, the company owner has no choice but to dismiss a few workers. Disparage, to criticize someone or something in a way that shows a lack of respect. I cannot believe that you belittle and disparage people who have little in common with you. Disparate, different in every way. Scientists are trying to pull together disparate ideas in astronomy. Disparity, a lack of equality or similarity, especially in a way that is not fair. There is great disparity between the amount of work that I do and what I get paid for it. Disperse, to spread across or move away over a large area, or to make something do this. As soon as the last bell rings, students disperse out of the building and head to their buses. Dispose, to make someone feel a particular, and often bad, way toward someone else, or to influence someone in a particular way. His criminal record does not dispose me to trust him. Dispossess, to take property, especially buildings or land, away from someone or a group of people. Once the real estate investor neglected to pay his property taxes, the government took action to dispossess his land. Disquiet, to take away the peace or tranquility of. The novel is a tense thriller that will disquiet the reader. Dissemble, to hide your real intentions and feelings or the facts. While it may be easier to dissemble your true feelings from others, it is always best to be honest with those you love. Disseminate. To spread or give out news, information, ideas, etc. to many people. After the presidential election, it would not take long for the media to disseminate the results to living rooms across the United States. Dissent. To disagree with other people about something. The farmers are sure to dissent on the proposed land tax increase. Disservice. An action that harms something or someone. She has done a great disservice to her cause by suggesting that violence is justifiable. Dissident. Publicly disagreeing with and criticizing your government or political party. He was a dissident candidate of the Liberal Party. Dissipate. To gradually disappear or waste. According to meteorologists, the storm will dissipate after a few hours and make way for the sunshine. Dissolute. Showing a lack of good character and morals. When I was young, I was rather dissolute and only hung out with people who got into troubles for behaving improperly. Dissolution. The act or process of ending an official organization or legal agreement. The President announced the dissolution of the National Assembly. Dissonance. A combination of sounds or musical notes that are not pleasant when heard together. If Congress can explain the dissonance between their promises and their actual results, the public would be happy to hear the explanation. Dissuade. To persuade someone not to do something. Jealous people will always try to dissuade you from trying to be successful. Distaff. Female. He is my uncle on the distaff side. Distaste. A dislike of something that you find unpleasant or unacceptable. I have a mild distaste for anything bitter, but I would certainly eat those foods if I were hungry enough. Distend. To swell and become large, especially because of pressure from inside. The balloon was distended because of filling of hydrogen. Distill. To make a liquid stronger or purer by heating it until it changes to a gas and then cooling it so that it changes back into a liquid. The writers were asked to distill the most important points of their articles and put them into one sentence. Distray. Apprehensively divided or withdrawn in attention. When she goes to work tired, Hannah is both distray and easily distracted. Dither. To be unable to make a decision about doing something. The politician began to dither and stutter when asked his stance on the issue. Diurnal. Being active or happening during the day rather than at night. In the desert, there are few diurnal animals because of the high daytime temperatures. Diverge. To go in different directions from the same point, or to become different. The interstate began to diverge into two exit ramps.